Hello YouTube. So today I wanted to get on here and talk about something really important, which is toxic relationships and friendships and all of that stuff. I've been meaning to talk about this for a while, but I really couldn't find the right words to say. My situation that I'm gonna talk a little bit about happened like a year and a half ago when I tried to kill myself. So I had a best friend. She was my best friend. We met actually in the hospital when I was 17. 17, yeah, when I was 17. And we became really close. And, you know, we were, by this time, I was a freshman in college, and we were both freshmen in college. And she went to school in Maryland, and I would visit her a lot, things like that. So we were really close. But we both were not well mentally at the time. I was actively cutting. She was not as actively cutting as me. She had like a little bit more time of like sobriety or being clean than I did, I think. But she was still not in a good place. Neither was I. And it was very toxic because when you're best friends with someone or you're in a relationship with someone or whatever, and you guys are both, doing badly, it can you could just feed off of each other's negative energy and feed off of each other's negative thoughts and negative actions and things like that. So it's really just not good for you to be with someone or be around someone who's like that when you're not well either. It just never really works out. I mean, there are times when you can lift each other up, definitely, and there were times when we did, but for the most part, it was really just not healthy at all. And she's a good person. Like, I don't think she's a bad person, but it was just like not working for me. And I knew it wasn't working. I think we both knew it wasn't working, but we didn't really do anything about it because I did love her. Like, she was my best friend, you know what I mean? And all that stuff. So she had this boyfriend who I like wasn't really that fond of just because he was a lot older, and he kind of like took away from my time with her a little bit. And at the time, she was like probably my closest friend because all my friends had gone away to school, kind of far, and like she was far too, but I would talk to her the most probably out of everyone. And she understood because she had been in the hospital with me. She had been there. She had, you know, known what was going on for me, and we could talk about things like that without judgment or the other person not knowing what to say. So right before I tried to kill myself, like, I really needed to talk to her, and I was just like, I really need to talk to you, this and that. And she just like didn't make the time for me, and that kind of, it wasn't what pushed me over the edge, but it was definitely like one of the things that I was like, wow, like I really have no one. But it wasn't like, I don't blame her for my fucking suicide attempt, which is, I think she thought that for a while, and then she actually relapsed with self-harm after I tried to kill myself, and it was just like not good. And she cut me off actually, like before I cut her off. Like, she cut me off because after I was in the hospital, she just stopped answering my phone calls and stopped answering, everything. And we just didn't talk for a long time. And I felt so betrayed because like I needed her, you know what I mean, in that time. And I just like, she just kind of fucked off. And I was so mad. So mad. And I was mad for like a long time. But then I realized like it's what needed to happen. I was better off without her, and I was better off, surrounding myself with healthy people and people that made good decisions and people that were overall just, in a good place. And, I think definitely cutting me off and like not speaking to me anymore was definitely one of the best things that she did for me because like I needed that. And I think it would have happened eventually, but I'm like the type of person that like doesn't like to let go of relationships even if they're hurting me, because I get attached to people and I really care about the people in my life. And I just, I'm not really good at like cutting people off. So, you know, the fact that she did that for me was really, really great, and I thank her very much. And I got over it, you know what I mean? It was like a couple months of anger, and eventually I just got over it, and I was happy, you know, without her in my life. Not that I was like unhappy without her in my life, but like, you know, she was my best friend, and I was angry with her for, you know, dropping me when I needed her most. So, yeah, that happened. And then actually a couple months ago, back in June, I think, she texted me out of the blue, like we hadn't spoken in a long time. She would text me every now and then, like every couple months, about like someone we knew from the hospital or something like that, and that was it. Like we didn't talk and stuff. And she texted me in June in this like paragraph of like apologizing and like, you know, whatever. And, you know, not in the way of like, okay, I'm trying to like be friends with you again, just like in the way of like, I realize now what I did was wrong, and like, you know, I'm sorry. And so I was like, wow, that was so nice. Like at this point, you know what I mean? This was like a couple months ago. I've been over it for a long time, but it was really nice to hear from her. And I just said, it's okay. And that was it. Like, I haven't spoken to her since. So, you know, I think she just needed like the closure from me, and I didn't really need it, but I'm like thankful that she, you know, finally, I hope she's in a good place now. You know, it seems like she is because she texted me that, and I guess she knows, you know, her wrongdoings and stuff, and I really hope that she's well because I'm well. And you know, she was my friend and we were both having problems, so, you know, I hope things are good for her. But I just, you know, it was hard doing that. And there's this song by Brand New called 70 times 7, I think. Yeah. And it's about, you know, the lead singer of Taking Back Sunday stealing the lead singer of Brand New's girlfriend and betraying him because they were best friends, blah, blah, blah. And of course the betrayal wasn't, you know, as intense as that one, but it was one of her favorite songs and one of mine also. So I used to like sing it in the car when I was just feeling extra angry to get my rage out because like that, I just related to it at the time. And it's funny thinking about that now. But yeah, you need to get rid of your toxic relationships. You need to do it long before I did, because it's not good. It's not good for either person. And you're not like cutting a toxic person off because they're an awful person. You know, she's not a bad person. I don't think of her as a bad person. And when I look back on like being friends with her, like you know, we had good times and we were, you know, good friends, but it was not good for either of us to be friends because we were both so sick. And I was sicker than her, I think, because of what happened to me. And, you know, we fed off each other's bad fucking vibes and negative energy and negative thoughts and depression and bad feelings. So it was definitely not good. It was not healthy. And I think that if you're in a situation like that, either with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a best friend, or whoever, you know, that person, when they get okay, will one day thank you for breaking off that relationship, because it is so much better when you're just surrounded with positive people and people who aren't bringing you down, especially when you feel down. And, you know, I think it's really important that when you're at your worst to be with people that are only bringing you up and only being positive and doing positive things with you and not influencing you negatively. So I think it's really important to cut off toxic relationships, and as hard as it can be, you know, even you don't, you know, necessarily have to completely cut that person off, but distance yourself from that person. Don't spend a lot of time with them. Don't do bad things with them. Don't talk to them and let them kind of, you know, push you in the wrong direction or push them in the wrong direction. It's just not good. So you don't have to completely stop talking to someone because they're toxic, but I think you definitely really have to stay away from them as much as you can. So that's really all I have to say for today. You know, it's hard, but it's something that can definitely be done. And it takes a lot. And I think, but once you both get well, or once you get well, or the other person gets well, they'll understand, or you'll understand why those things happened and why the relationship or friendship or whatever it was had to kind of come to an end in that moment. And I think you could definitely, you know, get back to what was, but only when you're healthy, you know what I mean? And only when they're healthy. So yeah, that's it. So I really hope this video was helpful. I just kind of wanted to get that out because I did have an experience with it and it was hard for me, but now being healthy and okay, I realize how good it was for that to happen and how toxic the relationship was. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. See you later.